The dust of snow. First flight. We started the video. Dust of snow. Open the book. Have you opened?
Yes, sir.
Dust of Snow. It was written by a famous poet called Robert Frost. Robert Lee Frost. He's a very famous poet, and mostly you will see that his poems are related to nature. Practical things, even a small little things, he will bring it out in such a very wonderful way. In this poem, Dust of Snow, the poet is in a very sad mood, yes? He's very sad, and while walking under a hemlock tree is a very poisonous tree. While walking under that tree, a little snow had fallen on him. There was a crow. You know what is a crow? You have seen crows? The dark black crows. The crow on the branch of that hemlock tree had just shaken itself, and a little snow. Normally in winter season, you will find all the trees full of snow. So when the breeze blows or when you touch the branches, the snow will fall down. Okay. So this crow had shaken itself on that branch, and little snow had fallen on the author, the poet of the. Immediately his mood changed completely, and he became very happy. The day became very happier. So what he's trying to say here is, I'm just giving the introduction. The hemlock tree is a poisonous tree, and a black crow normally is referred to as doom and fear. Suppose you're stepping out of the house, and if you see a black crow, you immediately start to think that whatever you're going to go out for today will not be successful. Normally it's a bad omen when you see a black crow, a single crow. So in this case, the crow and the hemlock tree both are negative agents in nature, but both those negative agents had completely given a positive feeling to the author. That is what he meant here. He completely changed, a little snow dropped on him, and he became very happy that full day. So he's trying to say, even in life, even small matters, when it's compared with nature, it doesn't have any significance, and we should not take those small matters or small things into our life and become very sad and all that. Okay. Now here, the short poem of Robert Frost throws light upon the unimaginable healing power of nature and tiny things. From a bad mood to ill health, there is nothing that can't be cured by nature. Even health, even if you're not feeling well and if you're a little sick, if you come out into the fresh air, and if you come out, immediately you start feeling better. See, nature has its own cure. It cures you completely to some extent, I am saying. So, nature, unimaginable power, of healing power that nature has. The author was experiencing one such bad mood when a crow's movement near a hemlock tree or on a hemlock tree dusted some snow upon him. You know what is snow? Snow in winter, here we don't get it. If you go to cold countries, in winter season, November, December, January, you will find a lot of snow on the roads, on the trees and all that. That's snow. The snow instantly makes him happier. His day gets a lot better. Thus, the supremacy of nature as a whole made him realize how petty his problem was. Petty means very small, not significant, not important, very small. The fact that the hemlock tree is poisonous, combined with the crow being an indicator of doom and fear, are used in the poem as the carriers of happiness. Hemlock tree, a very poisonous tree, and a crow is the indicator of doom and fear. Both negative agents combined and made him very much happier. The poet, through these objects, has tried to highlight that sometimes creatures linked with negative aspects of life can be the bringer of change and happiness. Being outdoors in nature with all its unpredictability can benefit anyone, anywhere, and anytime. That is the introduction of this poem. Robert Lee Frost, that's his full name, a very great poet. Even the Prime Minister, like Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister, even he used to keep Robert Frost's poems with him, his book. And he goes through, because it is all related to life, it is all related to your day-to-day life. Whatever poems he has written is all related to day-to-day life. A simple, very simple poems, in a very simple way he writes, but it has a larger meaning to it. Okay? Now if you take, we'll go line by line in this poem. You got the books with you? Who all are come? Who all are there? Aishwarya, Sonpari, Surai? Yes, sir. Anybody else? Who else? Kulamani? No. Tell your names. Who all are there? Okay. Now, who all are there? Okay, no problem. Now, take the first stanza. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. The way a crow shook down on me a dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Shook means shake, shake. Hemlock is a poisonous tree. Now here, the poem is set in a scene where the poet is in a very bad mood. Already I told you, a very bad mood. Maybe in his life, or maybe on that particular day he was very sad or very upset due to many reasons, and was walking by the tree, that hemlock, walking by the hemlock tree. Hemlock tree, as he passes by, a crow happens to throw some snow dust on him. Oh, did the crow throw? No, the crow was on the tree, and the crow shook its body. When it shook its body on the branch, whatever snow was there, that had fallen on the author. Okay. Whether it falls on his head or shoulders, it's unknown, as there is not a specific mention in the poem. Also, the readers are left with a doubt about the bird's specific action, whether the crow was landing or shivering with cold or adjusting itself on the branch of the buffeting. It happened to send some particles of snow upon the author. Here, the two agents of nature, the hemlock tree and the crow, are signifiers of sadness and gloom, just like the poet's mood was in the opening scene. You understood this first stanza? Sonpari? The way the crow means the way the crow shook itself, shook down on me. Shook down on me means shook some snow, shook itself, and the snow on the branch fell on me. Me means the author, Robert Frost. The dust of snow from a hemlock tree. The tree was full of snow during winter, and when the crow shook itself, the branch also shook, and some snow fell on him. He was in a very bad mood on that day while he was passing under the tree, and this happened, and it made him. Now in the next stanza, take the next stanza. Has given my heart. Now he was very sad at that moment, I told you. Has given my heart a change of mood. That means he was very sad in the earlier time, before that snow fell. And after the snow dust fell on him, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of the day I had ruled. Saved some part. That means the day I had ruled means I felt very upset that everybody has this issue in their lives. They feel sometimes one day they are very happy, the next day, sometimes when they wake up in the morning, they are very sad for some reason. So, if you are going to be sad, that full day is going to be ruined. That full day is going to be removed. You feel like sad at the end of the day. I was very sad. I did not meet my friends. I was not happy. I had a very sad face. So here, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of the day I had ruled. So after the snow fell on him, after the dust of snow fell on him, his life became brighter. On that particular day, his mood completely changed and he became very happy. For reasons unknown, the author was having a terrible day. The author has not told what happened, nothing, everything. The author was having a terrible day, but the falling of snow on his head lifted his mood instantly. Instantly his mood changed from a sad into a happy mood. He had already spent his day in a bad mood. I told you the rude, my full day was rude. Already had spent the day in a bad mood, but the rest of it was saved by the crow and the hemlock tree. You understood what I'm saying? To some part of the day, he was very sad. Maybe half the day or quarter of the day he was very sad. But after the crow dusted snow on him from an hemlock tree, the balance part of the day was saved. He did not feel regret, was saved, and he was very happy in that day. Generally, the hemlock tree and the crow are used as negative references, but the poet used them so beautifully to portray inauspicious things can bring joy and happiness too. Sometimes, even negative agents, inauspicious things can give you happiness. That is what he meant here. He has made two negative agents, the hemlock tree, which is a very poisonous tree one, and the crow, which is doomed to be for fear and doom. Normally it's a bad omen. Nobody likes to see a crow when they step out of the house for any reason. So in that case, here things and happiness, one must not take things for granted and should be open to accept. Now here, people sometimes when they see the crow, they become very sad, or they don't keep poisonous trees. Normally they don't keep any poisonous trees, or they don't sit under the poisonous tree, or they don't keep poisonous trees in their gardens and all that. But normally the author here is trying to tell us that even negative agents can bring you happiness to some extent. That little dust snow from the crow on the branch of the hemlock tree had completely changed his mood. Now, you understood what I read? You understood? Now read the poem. Read the poem Sonpari. Sonpari. Read the poem. The way a crow. Read loud. The way a crow. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of the day at rude. Rude means regret. Regret that I spoiled the half of the day. Now, what is a dust of snow? What does a poet say has changed his mood? How has a poet's mood changed? Now here, dust of snow refers to tiny particles of snow. The particles are so small that the poet referred them as dust. Very small particles, and when it's collected into one place, it looks like dust. You know what is the meaning of dust? The poet was in an awful mood. Awful means very bad mood, very bad, terrible mood or sad mood. When particles of snow had fallen on him, this changed the poet's frame of mind instantly, and his day got a lot better. Okay. Now here, how does frost present nature in this poem? Next question. The following questions may help you to think of an answer. What are the birds that are usually named in the poem? Do you think a crow is often mentioned in poems? What images come to you when you see? Normally, most of the poets, they don't mention crows. I mean, a negative agent like a crow or a poisonous tree like hemlock tree in their poems. They normally mention a peacock, or they mention a pigeon or a dove, or some peaceful agents they will mention. They will not mention a crow, a negative agent. So that is what is being said here. Birds, birds like sparrow, nightingale, peacock are more often referred named in poems. Sparrow, a nightingale, because a nightingale sings very sweetly. So normally the poets use nightingales in their poems. Then peacocks. Peacock is looking very beautiful. It dances in the rain. So normally some poets describe them and refer them in their poems. Unlike these birds, crows are often seen as indicators of doom and fear. Normally, nobody mentions in their poems or like a crow, because a crow is normally like superstitious things. They say that if you see a crow, it is known as fear. It gives us bad indication that something is going bad is going to happen that day. So they are not, they are only normally negative. Again, what is a hemlock tree? Why doesn't the poet write about a more beautiful tree than a maple or oak or a pine? Now here again, birds I have told you, poets normally use for sparrows, nightingales and peacocks. They don't use negative birds like crow. And normally in trees also, most of the poets, they use the maple tree or the oak tree or the pine tree. They are very beautiful trees, very nice trees, and they start to describe them in the poem. They give good references to them. Normally nobody uses a poisonous tree in their poems. Trees are also seen as mighty creatures imparting wisdom as they are too old. They give out oxygen and absorb the carbon dioxide, which is connected with absorbing all negative energy. But there are trees that are poisonous too, like the hemlock tree. The poet does not mention a more beautiful tree such as the maple, the oak, or the pine, because he wants to indicate a sad scene. Normally, he wants to indicate, when you want to indicate a sad scene, the the agents surrounding you or the agents surrounding in the nature normally will be referred to sad agents, like the poet is very sad, so he used a poisonous tree like a hemlock tree, and he used a crow as another agent. But that is what he said. He's not used any peacocks or sparrows or nightingales, which are like brings happiness like in the poem. Okay. Being poisonous, hemlock tree is considered to be bad, so he refers to it. So, two bad things are given a positive response. Two bad things. One, the hemlock tree, negative. One, next, the crow, negative, negative and negative, and has given him a positive happiness, a positive approach on that particular day, which you would have been ruined because of his sadness. What do the crow and hemlock represent? Joy or sorrow? What does the dust of snow that the crow shakes of the hemlock tree stand for? Now here, another meaning. What does the crow and hemlock tree stand for? Joy or sorrow? Sorrow. Because poisonous tree and the crow is a bird of fear or doom. Okay, the dust of snow is what? Let us see now. Both the crow and the hemlock tree represent sorrow. Frost has used both the negative creatures, crow and hemlock tree, as carriers of positivism and strength. I told you two negative things are given positive report. That transformed his day from for the better. But by not using birds like sparrow and nightingale and trees like maple, oak, or a pine, the poet has tried to break down all the preconceived notions of that which we have about certain agents of nature. We all have that superstitious thing. We don't want, when we want to step out of the house, suppose you are going for an interview or you are going for a job, when we see a crow or when a cat crosses you, when you're moving, when you're going, if a cat crosses you, immediately you say, no, I'll not go. There is some bad is going to happen. If you see a crow, no, I've seen a crow, I'll cancel, I might not get my job today. I might not, whatever I'm going to do today is going to be a failure. So normally these things, these are the agents. Break down that. So he has tried to make us understand that we see the world not as how it is, but how we want to see it. See, we have to see the world. We have to see the world how it is, not that how we want to see it. That is what the poet trying to say. We all should see how it is as it is. We should accept the world, not that we see a crow or we see a poisonous tree. Immediately we start to think that this is negative, this is bad, this is not good, and all that. Thus the crow sitting on a hemlock tree made together there, a dust of snow shares more joy. Now listen to me now. Who are there? How many?
Mandip.
Mandip, you have come. Mandip. Mandip, switch on your mic.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you understood what I taught you just now? Children, Sonpari, Aishwarya, Surai. Understood?
Yes,
Yes, understood. Now what you do
Yes,
is,
sir.
what you have to do is, you have to go through the full poem again. Go through the full poem again and write a short summary. What will be the summary? A short summary. A short summary. The short poem of Robert Frost throws light upon the unimaginable healing power of nature and tiny things. From a bad mood to ill health, from a bad mood to ill health, there is nothing that can't be cured by nature. You write a short summary about those two stanzas. The author was experiencing one such bad day when a crow's movement near a hemlock tree or on a hemlock tree dusted some snow on him. The snow instantly makes him happier and his day gets a lot better. Next point. Thus, the supremacy of nature as a whole made him realize how petty his problem was. The supremacy of nature, the mighty nature. Such a great world this is, and the nature is more powerful than anything else that is here. So his problem on that particular day, when he was having a bad mood, seems very, very small. Petty means very small compared to the supremacy of nature. The fact that the hemlock tree is poisonous, combined with the crow being indicator of doom and fear, are used in the poem as carriers of happiness in life of the narrator. The poet, through these objects, has tried to highlight that sometimes. Can you write down the summary I am saying? Can you write it down soon? I've got 5 minutes. Can you write down? Children, can you write it down as I'm reading?
Yes, sir.
Come on, start. The short poem, the short poem by Robert Frost throws light upon the unimaginable healing power, right soon, of nature and tiny things. From a bad mood to ill health, there is nothing that can't be cured by nature. Full stop. The author was experiencing one such bad day when a crow's movement on a hemlock tree dusted a little snow upon him. Full stop. The snow instantly makes him happier and his day gets a lot better. Thus, the supremacy of nature as a whole made him realize how petty, P-E-T-T-Y, how petty his problem was. Full stop. The fact that the hemlock tree is poisonous, combined with crow being the indicator of doom and fear, are used in the poem as the carriers of happiness in life of the narrator. The poet, through these objects, have tried to highlight that sometimes creatures linked with negative aspects of life can be the bringer, B-R-I-N-G-E-R, can be the bringer of change and happiness. Being outdoors in nature with all its unpredictability can benefit anyone, anytime. Write the summary down, then write the poem, write the question answers, and let me know. Okay, I will meet you in the next class. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much. Good morning. Bye, children.